kind of having more of a chill class fits where we're going here seasonally. So here we are winding down from the summer. Days are getting a little bit cooler, a little bit shorter. And you know, we are kind of going more into rest and recuperate mode. So that's perfect for this class to kind of get us into that transition, that mindset to transition, transitioning back to school too. And so that always can be a huge shock to the system. Hi, Neo. Lots of kisses for mom. All right, so it'll be a nice chill evening with mostly seated and kneeling poses. We will get up a little bit and then come back down. So yeah, join me on the mat. We are going to start, actually let's start lying down on our backs. So rarely do we do this, but let's just lay down and feel how it feels. Just have our backs relax and the body be held by the ground. Even just the act of laying down like this, you can feel the tension releasing in your back. You can have your knees bent with your feet on the ground, or you can straighten your legs out in front of you. Pretty much totally in Shavasana at the beginning of the class. It's a little bit like eating dessert first, but we'll have 2 desserts tonight. So as you're lying on the ground, feeling your spine unwinding and relaxing, feeling your hips and your lower back sinking down into the earth. You can take 3 deep breaths here, lying on your back. So inhaling, filling up all of those spaces, and then exhaling, sighing to let it out. You might feel your body sinking more down into the earth with that sigh. And then taking another deep breath in, filling up all the spaces. And again, sighing it out, feeling the earth beneath you. Everything is stable, everything is okay right now. We're safe, we're calm. 1 more deep breath in, filling all of the parts up, your belly, your chest, your rib cage, all the way up to your shoulders. And then on the exhale, again, letting it all out. Signaling the end of a day, the end of most of our work, hopefully, and bringing your body into a space now that can heal, relax, and take in some of the goodness of the practice that we'll do right now. So when you're ready, slowly coming on up. Oh, actually, no, you know what? No, stay down on your back. We're gonna do a few stretches for the SI joint and the lower back lying down. Good, so first things first, we will take the right knee and just bring it gently into the chest. So you can clasp your hands behind your right knee. As you bring your knee in, feeling the nice opening and stretch in the back, in the lower back. You might be feeling it in the right hip as well. You can move around in a little circle, so make little circles with your knee if you like, if that feels good. Or just keep it nice and still. And when you breathe in, breathing in still nice and deep, and make sure that you're thinking about the breath going down into the lower back, into the hip, into that whole kind of right side. Even the groin is getting a stretch here. And on the exhale, you can pull the knee in further to the chest. Good. We'll take 1 more inhale here, deepening our breath, allowing it to get all the way down into the hips. And then on the exhale, you're going to take your left hand to your right knee and just move it over into a twist. So taking your right knee across your body to the left, you can open up your right hand into your right arm into a T, and taking a gentle twist to the left side. And then breathing deeply here. Again, on the inhale, you're gonna feel yourself lift off the mat a little bit. And on the exhale, you're gonna feel your right shoulder coming down a little bit, maybe touching the ground, maybe not, that's okay. Let's do one more deep breath here, allowing that twist to rinse out our spine, rinse out our organs, increase digestion, and just help get rid of toxins, anything that's accumulated, food, emotions, otherwise. And then on the in-breath, bringing your left knee up again. And you can straighten that leg out now. And we're gonna go to the other side. So bringing your left knee in to the chest, clasping your hands around the back. One side might feel different than the other. As long as you're breathing in to the back of your hips and your SI joint, you're getting all the benefits here. You can rock that knee back and forth. You can make it go in little circles if you like, or you can just keep it very still if that feels the best on your body. Nice deep breaths in. You can make your breath out a little bit longer than the breath in, just for more of a calming effect. So then inhaling here, and on the exhaling, moving that right knee now over to the, left knee over to the right. And then opening up the left arm into a T. And you might feel the stretch all the way from the left fingertips, maybe through that inside of the arm, armpit, rib cage, lower back. So that whole left side is opening up here. You're not forcing anything. Checking in with your neck, your jaw. Are you holding any tension there? Letting that go. Take one more deep breath here. And coming up to center. Now your feet are going to be on the floor, knees are going to be bent. Just get situated there. Next we're going to take the right leg and you're going to straighten it and bring it on up, pressing your heel up to the ceiling, as if you're trying to reach that leg out of the hip socket and into the ceiling. So yeah, leg is pointed straight up. Exactly, guys. Excellent. And then can you already feel that stretch in the calf and the behind the knee? I already can. So after you check that the hip is lifted up and you're pressing towards the ceiling, your lower back's still on the ground now. If you want, you can clasp your hands behind your calf and then just bring it in slightly. So you're gently increasing the stretch now by bringing your leg closer to your chest. Yeah. Awesome. Ooh, that's quite the stretch for me already. And so hamstring stretches are supposed to be good for SI joint issues. And I can kind of feel why here. It feels really good on the lower back too. Let's take one more breath here. And then on the inhale, straighten your left leg. Your right leg is still up, pointing up to the sky. And then the exhale, you're going to take your right leg and move it to the left. Kind of like we did in the twist, but you're gonna keep your right leg straight. Nice, exactly. So you're gonna hopefully feel this in your IT band on the left-hand side. Good. Breathing into that left IT band. You might want to bring your right arm out again to a T just to give you a little bit of balance so you're not kind of falling over to the left. You should feel this all the way up into your right glute, your hamstrings, IT band. I love this stretch. Even though my left foot is coming nowhere near the ground, it's still a really good stretch. Good, and then coming back to neutral again with setting both feet now on the floor again. Knees are bent. We're just gonna go over to the left side now and do the hamstring and IT band stretch there. So getting yourself situated, making sure that your lower back is just slightly, your pelvis is slightly tucked, but kind of letting a natural gap as well, natural gap between your lower back and the mat be there. So you're not forcing anything. And then reaching that left leg up now to the sky, trying to take the middle of the sole and lift it up without lifting your butt or hip off the ground. So feeling that leg lift up out of the socket. And then after you've done that, you could either keep it here if that's a good enough stretch, or you can move it gently towards you with your hands. Nice. Feels good, right? Making sure that there's no tension in your traps and your shoulders. One more breath. And then on the exhale, straighten that right leg and bring the left leg over to the right. Keeping it straight, really straight. The foot is still flexed. And then bringing your left hand out into a T just to bring some balance there. It might feel kind of funny if your leg is kind of hanging midair, but that's okay as long as you can feel it in your hamstring, IT band, and your bum, then that's good. And just checking in that there's no tension in your neck either. Good, one more breath there. And then you can release that. Coming back to neutral, feet on the floor, and then just making your way up in a really nice, relaxed and slow way into seated, cross-legged seated. Take a sip of water if you want. Just taking some time to get up on your mat, up to seated. Good. So we'll just make sure that your spine is nice and straight, shoulders are relaxed, your crown is reaching up towards the ceiling. And then we're just gonna do some circular motions here, and just to get into our hips and into the back a little bit too. So these always feel really good to me, these circular rocking motions, kind of like that input for your nervous system. So go ahead and just however you want to start. I'm going to go to the right, and then on the in-breath, I'm coming forward. Yeah, so you're just making that circular motion with your pelvis. On the exhale, you're probably at the back, and then inhale, front. Yeah, good. Yes, that's right, Christy. On the back, when you get to the back, you're almost in that cat position. When you come to the front, heart comes forward, and it's like the cow. Yeah. So you can make these small, you can make them big, you can make them fast or slow, whatever feels good for your body. And then you can change directions. Inhale at the front, exhale, rounding your spine. Inhale, heart comes through. Exhale, round. Let's do two more like this. And then once you're ready, just come back to neutral. Changing the cross of your legs now, just so one hip doesn't get sore. Good, and then we're just going to reach forward with our hands, tension your fingers on your mat, and then slowly walking them forward until you are in a forward fold. And you can have this be a really relaxing forward fold, so you can let go of your head, your back can go rounded. Should be something really relaxing. Letting your neck muscles go. If your crossed legs are uncomfortable, you could always put your legs out in front of you. This should feel really good in the hips and the lower back. And then on the next inhale, walking your hands over to the right. You might even want to walk them out a little bit farther and to the right. And then you're going to feel that really intense stretch on the left side, probably down all the way down to your hip. Opening up your rib cage, opening up your breathing muscles. One more breath here. Sinking even lower. And then walking over to the other side now. Coming over to the left. So reaching the hands out, forward and then to the left. Only your body can tell you how far to go. When your right hip, actually my right hip and butt was just coming way off the ground, so I probably went a little too far. So making sure that the right butt is glued to the ground, and then releasing over to the left side. Feeling this in your right hip, rib cage, underarm. Lengthening all of those muscles that get compressed throughout the day as we're sitting, as we're shallowly breathing, opening all that up. Good, and then make your way back to neutral, and then gently you're going to walk up again, and you'll come all the way back to seated. And then we're going to come on to hands and knees. So just swinging your legs around now. And getting up into all fours, however that works for you. We're just going to do a strengthening pose for the core and just for posture. Again, when we're sitting all day at the desk, sometimes we forget about having appropriate posture, and so we just want to encourage that at the end of the day. So getting into a all fours pose, you're going to slightly tuck the tail, making sure your core is engaged, and then of course joints stacked on each other. So what we're going to do first is so make sure your right hand is planted down. You got some good balance going there, and you're going to take the left hand up and reach forward. So it doesn't have to look totally straight, as long as you're not scrunching your shoulder up to your ear. So mine doesn't look straight, yours might. And then if it's available to you, and if you feel like this is going to work for you, we're also going to take our our right leg and straighten it back behind you, feeling as if you're pressing your heel into the back wall. So again, you're flexing your foot and pressing that heel. And what you want to have your goal set for is that the hips are facing to the ground evenly. So in other words, you could balance a teacup on your back right now, on your lower back. And then take 2 breaths here, because I know this is a really intense pose. Making sure there's no tension collecting in your neck. 1 more. Your butt is probably shaking just like mine. And then lowering down, hand and knee can come to the ground. Good, just wiggle out a little bit. Do whatever you need to do to let that go. That's a really intense pose. You could come into a quick puppy if you want. Whatever you need to get rid of that, any tension that accumulated for that pose. We're gonna try to do that on the other side. So as we start off, just checking in your shoulders and making sure they haven't accumulated a bunch of tension. Good. And then tucking your tail and engaging your core. This is what's gonna help you with this pose, the engaged core. And then let's try this time lifting the leg up first, okay? So lifting your left leg and pointing it straight back. And then adjusting your hips so that they are on an even plane. So you're gonna see that your hip is gonna your left hip is gonna wanna rotate out. Try to get it right in line with the mat. Good. And then let's take the right hand now, reaching it out to the front. So you're basically reaching back with your the sole of your foot and then forward with the tips of your fingers. All the while you're engaging your core. And I don't know about you, but my back of my butt is really shaking. This is good. We got to strengthen our butts. SI joint problems can happen from a weak butt. Okay, one more breath here if you can make it. And then exhale, bringing everything back down. And let's go into a child's pose, wide leg or legs together, whatever you prefer. Into a child's pose, resting here. Maybe rocking a little bit side to side. Bird dog can be a little bit hard in the lower back, so just allowing your lower back to release now. Inhaling deeply into the lower back. And again, rocking side to side if you like to do that. One more super long breath here. I'm gonna get you to inhale as deeply as you can. And on the exhale, I want you to try to make the exhale longer than the inhale. And then walking the hands back up. So we're coming up now. And coming back into all fours. We're gonna do a side plank. A very modified side plank, don't panic. So taking the right leg and moving just moving the foot to the right as just like a kickstand. And then you're gonna open up the right leg into a side angle plank. Yeah, exactly, perfect. So I love the modified version because, man, the stretch that you get on your left side is amazing. One more breath here. And then I want you, from the modified plank, you can put your left hand on your left hip. And I want you to try to lift up your left leg now to become parallel with the mat in one long, strong, straight line. Whew. Okay, this is intense. Strengthening the muscles in the side of our butt. And then what you can do next if you want to get a quad stretch is bending that left knee and grabbing onto the foot. Yeah, perfect. So try to keep the knee at a 90-degree angle. And then you can feel an opening in the chest too. The closer you get the heel to your butt, the more of a stretch you'll feel. And then letting all of that go. Okay. And then back into your all fours and sitting back into child's pose again. And taking some nice calming deep breaths here. Resetting your nervous system. Opening up your hips and your lower back. Coming into rest. Rest is resistance against the patriarchy, against overachievement, against burnout. So as we come into this new year, new school year, and as we come into the fall months, I have made an intention to rest. And because not only is it going to help me with my longevity and my emotional capabilities, but it's going to help those around me too. Good, so let's get up and do that on the other side now. So we're going to do that side plank on the other side. So now kickstanding the left foot out. And then opening up the right leg, and then eventually into that side plank. Good, and then if you want that extra stretch right down the right side, you can bring your right hand and reach it towards the front of the room. Oh. Check in with your shoulders, make sure your shoulders are feeling okay. If not, you can put that right hand on your right hip. That'll take out all the tension from the shoulders. And then we'll do the strengthening one next, where we lift up our leg and try to get it in one long straight line coming out of the hip. Yeah, that's great, you guys. Awesome form, beautiful. And then grabbing onto that right foot if you want that quad stretch. So in this quad stretch, tuck your tail. Okay, so if your hips are, if you're kind of forcing your hips forward, you're going to get a better stretch in your quad. I see my form and it's not quite right, but that's okay. I feel okay in my body, so that's fine. And then releasing all that when you're ready. And again into child's pose. Forehead comes to the ground. The third eye meets the earth. I keep doing child's pose because it's such an important pose. I think that there's been times in my life where I have been so overwhelmed that all I could do was go into child's pose for, 10 minutes. And it's definitely healing and definitely restorative for the nervous system. So again, thinking about rest. Transition can be really hard for a lot of us. And even not just even psychologically, but physiologically, like the weather change, pressure change. And I mean like barometric pressure, but also pressure in life, right? You're going back to school, going back to work. So really embedding time for yourself, even as we start up on this super busy school year. Just taking a couple more breaths in child's pose. Breathing there, thinking about what you want your school year to look like. What kind of restful strategies do you want to implement? And what does rest look like for you? And being, honest or being realistic about rest, right? A lot of us, I was having a conversation this week with my friend and we were saying how, what we thought rest was a couple years ago is what we know it to be now, and learning about what that actually is a whole new thing on its own, right? Okay, let's come on up now. We are just going to come on up we're going to come into a standing forward fold actually. So coming up at the top of your mat and letting your entire body fold forward. You can have your hands might be on the ground, they might be on blocks. I love to have my hands at the back of my legs because I just feel like it allows me to elongate my spine a little bit more.
This is another really restorative pose. Although sometimes if you have a headache, this isn't the best. It might not feel the best. But in general, this should feel really good. Again, and now it's 2, opening up the backs of the legs, hips, SI joint, the neck. And then on your next inhale, you're going to take a slight bend in the knees. And you're going to start to come up, just rolling up really slowly. Head and neck are very last to come up. And as you come up, take a nice shoulder roll to the back. Opening up your chest and your heart, making sure your shoulders are released and relaxed. Good. And then we're going to take our right hand, reaching it up to the sky, elongating through our fingertips, checking in that the shoulders relaxed, and then bringing it over for a side bend, another side bend. Breathing into the side of the body here. You might feel this all the way down to your hips. I know I do, the right hip. And just checking in with your neck. Good, and then coming back up, releasing the right hand now. We'll bring that to the other side, reaching your left hand up. First elongating through the arm, reaching up, fingertips yearn towards the sky. Then making sure your left shoulder is chill, it's not up by your ear. And then coming over to the side. Opening up through the side of your body. One more breath here. And coming up to neutral now. Okay, let me just check the time. Of course, I always try to push it. But you know what we're gonna do? I was gonna do a few more standing poses, but I really want to get to Shavasana, which is so important. So let's come on down. Let's actually kind of bring your feet about 2 feet apart. We're gonna go down into a squat. So more into our lower back and into the SI joint. So if it's comfortable for you, just coming on down into squat here. And if you need to put a block under your butt, that always is super helpful for me. So block there. Good, feet are pointed out, slightly to the right. And then you're just opening up through your hips. Nicely. Good, hands to heart. Your elbows can be pressing against and opening up your thighs even more, just to get that deep opening stretch into your inner thighs, which apparently is another good stretch for SI. Good, well your lower back also, you're working into your lower back, just opening that area all up. Let's take one more deep breath here. Yes, all my yogis. Good, okay, so letting that go. Bringing the block out from under you if you had one. And then we're gonna make our way down into corpse pose, Shavasana. Coming to the end of our little journey. Make your way down, however you feel comfy. Bringing your legs straight out in front of you. Arms can kind of be out at your sides, palms up. Maybe just look from the right to the left, releasing your neck, any tension that developed. Checking in with your lower back. If your lower back is sore, you can bend your knees and then just let your knees flop in together. That's another way to do Shavasana. That's a little easier on the lower back. Good, and let's close here with 3 deep breaths, just like we opened our journey. So inhaling, on the exhale, sinking down, feeling into your body. How does it feel right now? Are there any differences from when we started? Are there any similarities? Inhaling again and then exhaling. Another deep breath in. Letting all that out. Again, feeling your bodies just sink in even farther into the ground. I invite you to stay here in a Shavasana if you have the time. If not, I'll get you to roll onto your left side and then push yourself up into a seated pose. We will close the class with 1 deep breath in. Hands come to heart, 1 deep breath in. And let it all out. Namaste, yogis. Thank you so much for joining me for this transition to fall class. I hope you're staying nice and cozy in your house and getting ready for fall. Remember to implement rest when you can. All right, see you next time.